Hello and welcome to Cable Plus Property, your #1 online educative platform on all issues related to land and landed properties. My name is Oiza and it's always a pleasure to be here. At Cable Plus Property, our aim is to ensure that all Nigerians and non-Nigerians have at the tip of their finger every information related to land and landed properties. We provide you with all that you need to know about getting your property registered, land acquisition, documentation, and obtaining your planning permit. In this video, I'll be speaking with a town planner and a barrister of the law, no other than town planner Barrister Makinde Ogunleye. Join me. Born in Ekiti State in the year 1950, town planner Barrister Makinde Ogunleye started his education at St. Peter's Primary School, Iro Ekiti, from 1962 to 1965, and then he went further to Ajua Grammar School in Akoko to the Polytechnic Ibadan from 1976 to 1980, and finally to the University of Lagos from 1988 to 1993. His professional qualifications are a registered town planner and a barrister and solicitor of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. He's a member of different professional bodies such as a fellow of the Nigerian Institute of Town Planners, a fellow of Institute of Corporate and Business Affairs Management, Nigeria, and so on. He was also a former chairman of the Nigerian Institute of Town Planners, Lagos State Chapter from 2010 to 2012. He's a part-time lecturer at the Lagos State University, a council member and legal advisor for the Nigerian Institute of Town Planners. That's between 2010 and 2017. He's a retired director of Town Planning Services, Lagos State, and he's presently the managing partner at Corporate Castles Limited. Town planner Barrister Makinde Ogunleye had contributed in numerous ways to the development of physical planning in Nigeria, such as a member of the National Committee on the Review of Town and Country Planning Law 1946, leading to the Nigerian Urban and Regional Planning Law Decree 88 of 1992. He's a member of National Committee on Building Code, a member of the Lagos State Physical Planning and Urban Development Appeal Committee, and so on. He equally contributed as well to the physical development of Lagos State. Join me as I engage town planner Barrister Makinde Ogunleye. Keep watching. Okay, so let's get started. Of all the available professions, why did you choose to study urban and regional planning?
Well, thank you very much. You find out that most town planners today, they got there by one way or the other by default. Most, because it's only medicine and law and engineering that people know.
Yeah, and you studied law as well.
Yes, I know. It's only those ones that the public know. So, and there was not much education, those monitoring people to do this course, to do that course. So I came into planning just by default, as I said, because a friend of mine was attending basic studies at the Polytechnic Ibadan.
Wow.
And he just told me that, wow, I was doing my A-levels there, that there was a course at the University at the Polytechnic that was very good. And he collected the form and gave to me. So after I filled the form and returned it, I did not think about it. Later on, I applied to the University of Lagos for sociology, and I was already given an admission. But when they said we'd be going from home, from Ishaga to Yaba, to him like that, those days, it was terrible. Hold up. Terrible. Hold up. So I said, wow, what about the form I collected in Polytechnic Ibadan? And I went to Ibadan. They told me I was qualified.
Wow.
That was why I moved to Ibadan to do
Urban and regional planning.
Yeah, and I enjoy it.
So would you tell us the story about you studying law?
While in service, I just thought of adding value to myself. And our office is at Yaba, Biri Avenue. I just thought of saying I learned attend some part-time courses at the University of Lagos. So I just went there. I wanted to read asset management, and later when I came back, I met one of my mentors, Papa Obemi. And he told me that, well, you can go and read law. I'll take you to Omotola. He was the dean of Faculty of Law then. We went there together. That one said, okay, no problem. But he submitted two names. The other one was older than me. He said, you can only take one. He took that one, and that one he don't even attend. The following year, Baba came to my office and held my hand and said, let us go and meet Omotola. You must come this time around. And that was how I started law.
Oh, that's a very interesting story. So would like you to explain, sir, what law means to the viewers, and especially its relationship with the planning profession.
And there is no precise definition for law. Because law, some people see it as that which has been made by legislators, and we are all obeying in it. That's the rule of human conduct. That is, the rule is there controlling our day-to-day activities. Some people see it in the customary balance too. You view law from different angles. So, law controls our day-to-day activities. Either it is customary, either it's received law, either it's legislator, everything. Law, everything we do is under the rule of law. So, in relation to this to town planning, the whole process of planning is based on rules. Do this, don't do that. Zoning laws, zoning regulations. And the way law developed from beginning, it's from during the bubonic plague in England those days. They were finding a solution to the problems of decay and congestion. That was what came back to law, to planning. And because people must comply, it's just like traffic law. It's what you call a strict liability offense. That is, if you drive one way, there is no pleading. It's an offense. You must go by it. So law too. If they tell you that one place has been zoned for a particular use, you cannot deviate from that use. So it's one of that infringes on fundamental human rights.
So in a layman's language, what is the meaning of rule of law? When a lawyer like you says this rule of law, what does it mean? And also in parlance to rule of planning law, what do these two concepts mean?
Okay, flowing from the first explanation, my previous explanation, the rule of law is the basis of everything. That you must obey the rule of law because it affects you as government, as individual. It's a thing that we must obey. We have created this law for ourselves, either through legislative, either through traditional, either through customary. We have created the law. So if we deviated from obeying the law, it affects us. So that's why when you commit an offense, you say your sanctions is based on the rule of law. So also with planning. Planning, as I said earlier, on all the various other regulations and laws is to make sure that you do things that will not affect the other party adversely. Things that will not affect the other person adversely. That is, if you want to build a house, you are building 20-story building near your bungalow, your privacy is affected. So that's a must that we must obey both the rule of law in planning and
outside planning.
Yes, legally.
Thank you, sir. So can we say that since you have established that the law is meant to be obeyed,
Yes.
we then say that there are consequences for disobeying the laws? Are there consequences?
There is always.
And what is the nature of these consequences?
The consequences depends on the nature of the legislation or law. Somebody who kills somebody, the law will say you hang him and this and that. Somebody who just went and stole ordinary cloth, you say you jail him. So depending on the level of the offense, the consequences depend on the level of offense, and they are prescribed. So it's not the judge himself does not just wake up and say go to jail for 3 months or for 1 year or pay 100 million. The law prescribes the penalty for each of the offenses.
Wow.
So even in the planning law too, there is prescription for the offenses that are violated when you do anything against the planning law and regulations.
Our viewers would like to know what is the rationale behind the principle of innocent until proven guilty. Is it applicable to all situations?
It's applicable to all situations, although in some countries they don't agree, or they don't carry out their legal judgment in that balance. But in Nigeria and many other countries, because if you don't deem it that somebody is innocent before you prove wrong, you will kill people innocently. Because someone may commit an offense, he has not committed the offense. Someone just alleged that say, ole, you will not ask what has it stolen. So that's why you see most of the people that are even taken before AFTC. They free them. If not because of that principle, they will just send them, you say, they have stolen billion. You will not investigate. Under which circumstances was the money stolen. You know, some are even proving that because the money was not stolen by him, it was used for the purpose to which it's supposed to be used for. So you can't sentence him for that purpose. So in planning too, when you are talking about innocent, that's why you serve notices before you commence demolition. That's why you give time for the illegal developer to know that he has an infringement on the law.
So you said earlier that the innocent until proven guilty balance is not applicable to all situations. Can you give an example of a situation where it's not applicable?
I said some jurisdictions.
Okay.
I mean some jurisdictions that outside Nigeria, there are some countries that don't follow. They don't. Here you prove. Even if it's a criminal offense, you prove beyond reasonable doubt that you have committed the offense. So it's an exception of the principle of someone must be able to prove that it's innocent before you convict him.
Okay, sir. Now, in physical development, most people violate or do not comply with planning laws. Now, how applicable is this principle to this ugly situation? When it's glaring that this person has not abided by the law, but innocent until proven guilty, how applicable is it?
No. You have regulations. You have laws. You have zoning regulations. You have what you call approval orders. You have all those things. You prepare a layout. There are regulations. There are what you can do and cannot do within the layout. So, and there is a process that before you develop, you must get a permit. If you do not get a permit and you develop, you have already committed an offense. So, it's you that will prove that you have an approval. Do you get
that? Is the developer.
The developer. And once you don't have an approval, that has confirmed that you have violated the law. So the issue of innocence is no longer tenable. That is it.
So the developer must bring a proof that he or she is innocent.
At all situations. He defend himself. To defend himself, he must bring everything that's necessary to use to defend himself. Prove that the structure you are developing has a permit for you to do so. And you are following the provisions in the permit. Because it's another thing not to follow the provisions in the permit.
Sir, in the past, development control was not as difficult as it is now, despite the fact that would say people were less educated or less eye-open, so to speak, to education and all of that. They still obeyed rules and regulations, and development control was quite easy. Why is it difficult in this age and time that people have become even more educated and literate?
Well, I think partly the introduction of the Land Use Act, which gives the government the wherewithal to hold the land in trust for the people. And previous to that, when you talk about the LEDB, all the land they are working on, they divided them into sections, and there are titles, and it's easy for you to get permit over them. Then over the period of the military regime, people don't carry, or government don't carry the public along in the process of development and introduction of planning activities. So people don't know. People are supposed to be informed. That's why we talk about public participation, that stakeholders must be involved. If they are involved, this issue will be minimized a little bit. You will know that, no, that place is supposed to be an open space in my estate. You too, you join government in monitoring the open space that is not converted into other uses. The other issue is, today, land is very costly. If you buy a piece of land, 500 million in the Banana Island, and someone now say you cannot build 10 floors there, you start calculating, what do you mean? That I have my money, I've obeyed this, I've obeyed that. So once the government says you cannot do it, you start looking for shortcuts. Because it has invested so much on it. Sorry. Okay. Fourthly is that it's not easy after the land use act to get title to property. And nobody will grant you a permit without a title. So when it takes you 5 years, 6 years to get a title, CFO or consent or anything, you start developing. But if it's a thing you can get today, or 1 month, or 2 months, or 3 months, you will say, okay, let me get my permit to do it. I think that contributes a lot. Apart from government that revokes so many places from my 2 to Badagry, it's under revocation. All K2 is under revocation. All those areas is under revocation. So it's not easy for government is not releasing the land to people as they need it. So they have to contravene. And finally, we don't have enough people on ground. Those days, population of Lagos State in 1979, 80, then have 4 million. Today, we are getting to 20-something million. And we still use the same small number of officers to monitor. It cannot work.
How do you think we can, or the government can salvage this situation?
Number one, the government must devise a process where people can easily get title to their land. Number one. Government must invest on planning. Because the government is trying, but they must invest more on planning. That is monitoring. Not that 3 officers will be in a district office. They cannot cover much. They are too little on land. Or with one vehicle. Before you move from one edge, like Kochofe, before you move for a cherry nut to Bagada, they have this completed. So that encourages contravention. But once someone knows that they're going to sanction him before he does anything, you will be careful. Like last man, when you know that immediately you comment once and you run away. So, but when you notice that you can develop the thing, hide and develop it, and people knows you will do it. So that is the crux of the matter.
And that was another great session with Town Planner Barrister Makinde Ogunleye. I trust that you've learned all that you need to know about the legal aspect of planning. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button below, like this video, share with friends and families, and also head on to our Facebook and Instagram pages at Cable Plus Property to follow our page. My name is Oiza, and I'll see you next time.